Welcome back to the HGC. We are gearing up for game number 2. The Western Class champions Dignitas are setting up against beGenius. beGenius currently down 0-1. Dignitas continues to look crisp.
Yeah, they're looking really strong here, and it's a rough game for beGenius, no doubt about it. Then again, they have nothing to lose here, so this can also be an advantage for them because they can now try whatever they want. They can just like see whatever they have and throw it against Dignitas, try to throw a bit of a curveball here. But Dignitas, of course, for them, anything else but a 3-0 would be a disappointment.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for beGenius to consistently try to push Dignitas to be in spots where they get kills or two, because then they can rely on that and say, hey, if we can get kills on Dignitas, if we can maybe make them sweat a little bit, we'll have no problem if we go to the Crucible. So really a good teamwork building moment for this. Let's find out which battleground we're going to here for game number 2. It's going to be Towers of Doom. The choice is going to be beGenius.
beGenius with a map choice, and that also leaves us in a situation where they could have prepared something here. This is definitely one of those maps where you can attempt to cheese your opponent a bit. Dignitas, of course, is pretty cheese-proof. They are practicing regularly with teams like Expert. They had a lot of teams in the past that were trying to surprise them. So this could be a very interesting game depending on how beGenius in particular approaches this.
I mean, Abathur is always a possibility here for both teams. They've shown it on Towers of Doom, and it's one of those heroes that can do really well.
Especially since we have with beGenius a team that loves to play Abathur to an extent where other teams ban the hero out against them.
All right, well, we're waiting for our lobby to get ready. We're waiting on one member to join in, and then we will start the draft up and go from there. Other type of cheeses that could possibly happen here. Sylvanas, not one that really gets to be pulled off that often.
I mean, if you want to go really crazy, in the past we had some combos with Asmodan. We had a couple of Sergeant Hammer combos that were played here in the past where you're trying to execute pressure. This is, of course, something that we don't really find in the normal meta in Europe. But then again, beGenius, they might just try something a bit different to surprise them.
Well, Tacit are banned out right away. beGenius will be looking to get their ban. Last time they did Ragnaros. Ragnaros can be okay on this battleground, but not one that I would warrant a ban. Typically, you want to get rid of the Dahakas, the Falstad, but with Tacit are being banned out, banning out a global could hurt them. beGenius does love to run their own Dahakas and Falstads themselves.
They have to worry about the globals here. That's definitely true. The thing is, if they ban one of the global heroes out, then Dignitas can pick the only global that is still available up. And then you have, of course, a few pseudo-globals in the game that can still be utilized. But let's see how beGenius approaches this. It's actually interesting that they wait this long with the first ban. Usually the bans, at least, are pretty fast.
With going in game number 2, they're probably thinking about what they want to move into. They have to think about the Greymane. Greymane, again, starting to grow into one of these heroes that, hey, maybe if we don't ban it out, that's first pick worthy. Do we want to grab it ourselves? Do we want to ban them and maybe move into globals afterwards and play a bit more of a standard game, if you will?
They could also just focus on the ban on the frontliners. Arthur's is strong here, but again, it's Lucio is a good ban too. So there's a lot of options. But they actually get rid of Varian. So that's to me already saying, hey boys, we would really love to play our Tracer this time. Are you okay with that? And I guess Dignitas is probably not going to liking this too much, but that could be. Dignitas, I would have laughed so hard if Dignitas would have just simply picked Tracer now.
Yeah, just pick Tracer.
Pick it away.
I mean, you can. You got Zelia the God.
Yeah, exactly. You have Zelia in your team. You know what beGenius is currently trying to do. They are known for this. So if they would have just first picked the Tracer, that would have been so funny.
But then you give up Arthas, but that did not occur there. Dignitas grabs Arthas here. It's interesting to watch the meta ship out. Last week we saw a lot of Lucio first picks, a lot of these heroes picking out, but now we're seeing a lot of Greymane, a lot of Arthas in the mix. Dahaka and Malfurion will be the response here from beGenius. So Dahaka once again. The good news about Dahaka, or even a global being here for beGenius, is it's one of those heroes that if you're losing a game hard, Dahaka can keep you in it because of the global pressure that he brings. And that actually happened in the first map. It felt like overall on rotations, beGenius was having a hard time, but luckily Dahaka kept him in.
Ah,
there he is.
As we said, Abathur is going to be a thing when beGenius plays on Towers of Doom, and Team Dignitas, they know that too, so they just pick him away here. Now, noteworthy that Greymane hasn't made an appearance yet, so you can still copy Greymane if you get your hands on him. I would actually expect Greymane to be banned out by one of the two teams here. If beGenius don't want to play Greymane, I personally think they're probably going to pick him up. They should ban him out just to make sure that there's no Greymane copy against them. And of course, there's always the question about Tracer still looming here with the ban that we saw on Varian, with beGenius being known for their Tracer play. Dignitas with Zelia having one of the best Tracer players here. This being a map where both teams have played him frequently in the past. This is like, and they actually banned Gul'dan so that they can get rid of the Horrifier over the Greymane.
Which allows them to go for the engages. And it's actually interesting now that we see Abathur picked up as a second hero in this rotation, because there's so many options on Towers of Doom to go into. Zul'jin, one of the options that we saw very often last week from Dignitas.
Yeah.
Double Zul'jin is actually pretty scary, especially if you are the Abathur Zul'jin. You're not too frightened to go in for your engages, so you can trade very effectively, especially if they put any damage into your health bars. So the Zul'jin being banned out, a good pickup from beGenius, but as mentioned by you, we still have Tracer available. We have even the wonderful Greymane, so beGenius has to think about what they want to grab now.
Exactly. And as you said, Zul'jin is a hero that has been played by Dignitas just last week quite frequently, so they're loving to go into that down that Zul'jin route, especially since you can make sure that you chunk away a tank's hit points quite easily, and if you have the increased attack speed through an Abathur, that helps you even more. Here comes Greymane now. Would have been very surprised if beGenius would have let Greymane go over to Dignitas, since the copy on Greymane is just so strong. With a Muradin in the mix now as well, very strong tank that can help you out with the additional stuns. And let's see what Dignitas does to complement the Abathur here.
I personally just want the Tracer because of Xayah and how impressive he can be on it. It might be a relatively hard here. Greymane, one of those secret counters against Tracer, because if they go for the throat, you can burn her down if the Abathur hat isn't there right on time, and Lucio not having the burst healing, it would make it a bit difficult to pick up. But Xayah has played Tracer into unfavorable positions in the past and been successful.
Yeah, and also he has played Tracer without any kind of double support, so no Tacita. In this case, you would have the Abathur instead. But you can also have the copy on Arthur's. An Arthur's copy during these fights can be absolutely fantastic. You can lock targets down. They go for the Tyrael first, and they copy with the Jaina.
This is an old and tried and true strategy. Double Jaina can be quite devastating, with Abathur getting that extra ability power when he goes into Ultimate Evolution. If you can get your Blizzards to drop on top of Malfurion, you can burst him out. And you get control on Greymane as well. That's actually a very difficult pickup, but it does kind of lend itself to possible counter picks. The problem is beGenius already has 2 tanks, so a Nubrak isn't really a tasty choice to pick up.
Ever since in the 6th week, we have seen so many Judgment plays. I just want to see that again. Judgment the target, Howling Blasted afterwards, Jaina, double Jaina goes in and just snipes it away. That's what I want to see right now. That would be the most fun. We have to, of course, both heroics are currently viable. It's really interesting to see, because for the longest time, it was all about Sanctification.
Yeah.
Anything else but Sanctification was absolutely crazy. And now we have a lot of Tyrael Judgment comps, but normally when they happen, they are against teams that don't have a cleanse.
Ariel, Lucio, Tyrande.
Exactly. Right now we have a Malfurion on the other side that makes it a little bit less likely, unless you always target Malfurion, because if he's playing on point, then that cleanse will be there. And the whole idea is, of course, to just give you that stun that you can follow up upon.
Well, Li Ming will be the final pickup here for beGenius, so we'll get to see Kirvois on his Li Ming once again. Mage versus Mage here. Tyrael. Nice little shot there by the cameraman. Good job, man. You're dominating, killing it. So the Judgment, probably not going to be the possibility here. Definitely be some Sanctification life. But the double Jaina is so devastating. If you ever have a chance to actually play it in a Hero League or even with a friend or two, try to utilize it and have that Jaina go all in on a target, and you'll see results every single time.
Yeah.
Boom.
Pretty much nailing it.
Analysis. Done. Just like that. That's what we're here for.
It's one of the reasons why, for the longest time, the combo there was going, you went Muradin Tyrande, you had the Jaina in there, and then sometimes you would throw the Abathur in. And the whole idea is just Muradin and Tyrande go for the double stun, the extra damage, then comes the Blizzard, and if you have a double Jaina behind it, you blow targets up. So that's the whole idea behind a draft like this. They are going to go for kills in Mena. It's going to have some fun. Like, he loves his mages.
All right, well, let's move into it. Game number 2, Towers of Doom. Will Dignitas continue to own Sauce, or will they fail Sauce against beGenius? Let's move it in.
All right, so talking about sauces here for some reason, and apparently Trickster didn't have enough breakfast today.
I had oatmeal.
Yeah, we need to get it a little bit more in the morning, I feel. To the left side, it is Team Dignitas with Xayah on Arthurs, JPL on Tyrael, Bakery on Lucio, Snitch on Abathur, and Mena on the Jaina.
beGenius to the right side in the red. Will be hoping to score a victory against Dignitas. Unstable on the Malfurion. Erikeen will be playing Greymane. Danatan will be playing the Muradin. We're going to have Li Ming played by Kirvois, and Tank for the win on Dahaka.
Down 1 game in the best of 5 series, beGenius needs to try and pull off a victory here. They have that Greymane. They again rely on the global. Dignitas did only pick Abathur, which of course can still soak experience on various lanes here. You can either soak with your body or you can soak with a symbiote. Really important, but...
Okay.
That's not really the start that beGenius was hoping for.
Yeah, you normally don't want to be setting up like that. What was he doing? Oh, I believe he's trying to set up a scouting drone to make sure that rotation was there, but this rotation was too quick for Dignitas. Typically, you don't see that quick of a rotation, but with Dig spreading out because of Abathur, they were able to pick off Malfurion. So a slight mistake, one that's understandable, but one that should not have happened.
And when Arthas and Jaina move in, then you know that winter is coming. Both of them just using their cold spells here. Lockdown, slows, and the burst damage from Jaina. That's all that you can ask for. So a good kill for Dignitas early on in the game. beGenius has to be careful now. It's rough for them. It's really rough. They are the one team that haven't won the best of 5 yet this season. They are struggling against Dignitas in this series. Dignitas is, of course, poised to win this, but beGenius has to try and throw them off here. Dignitas has showed some weakness in the past. They're currently looking much stronger than at the beginning of the season, but it's still something where you can, of course, hope to get a kill or two and carry that. We saw on the last map that even though Dignitas more or less dominated Infernal Shrines, there were moments of weakness when they lost heroes, when they were trying to push for a keep, and beGenius might be able to exploit that a bit further in the second game now.
It's really scary, too, because against Abathur, you normally want to be able to put a lot of pressure on your opponent by getting mercenary camps, taking out turrets, or pushing on a fort and taking a bell tower. Or if you get an early bell tower against Abathur, oh, you're in a great spot. Problem is, beGenius has a mid-tier comp in terms of around mid game. They should be getting powered up with their Greymane resets, their Leeming resets. Right now, they just kind of float around and soak. Muradin is their only real enabler to get those pickoffs, but with Lucio floating around and bringing in those knockbacks, most of the time Dignitas should be able to retreat from every fight.
Yeah, and you talk about Abathur. Abathur usually is a hero that makes sure that your own comp is a bit weaker in the early game, so you don't really have the same, you don't even have the same power in those fights since you are lacking a body and therefore a health bar. And that's something where this early kill against Malfurion just simply shouldn't have happened. So the early game is supposed to go to beGenius here, but they are losing out on the bell towers now too. It's an even exchange up to the top, but over here Danatan is in trouble. He's down, Muradin dead, second kill, and this is really not going beGenius' way. Not at all. Against an Abathur, they're supposed to win the early game, not lose it.
Yeah, not going well at all. They get 2 of the altars. Dignitas does. They have a 32 to 36, so they have a 4-point lead here on the left side. Abathur's dealing with the Dahaka in the top lane for now. And with Arthas being in the front line, dropping the Howling Blast, it's very hard for the members of beGenius to group up, especially when you add on the effect of Blizzard being dropped, that sieging mage that Jaina can be.
Yeah, and right now, experience lead for Dignitas. They have also more points on the core. beGenius is looking for opportunities here. Snitch still soaking at the top, helping out everyone on the map with a symbiote. This is looking really good for Dignitas early on in the game. beGenius, they need to change things up a little bit. If they can get in later fights, the resets, thanks to Greymane getting kills and then Leeming benefiting from it, they have the opportunity to win these fights, but they need to get that early kill, and that's going to be the biggest objective for them.
So here's where beGenius can be effective. I would like them to see aggressive invades. They bring in their Muradin, come on the left side and try to stop the mercenary camps and have Dahaka burrow in and try to go for picks. At this point, you want to try and take some high-risk, high-reward plays because you want to get that lead over Abathur. They do move in for an aggressive play from Danatan, but easily we're scared away with a couple of members being down the bottom left. Don't be so frightened. Make those plays. Shut down your opponent's comp, but Arthas is not there.
It's a confidence issue for sure. We've heard Danatan talk about maybe lack of communication overall a bit earlier when we saw the intro video. Now we have both the teams on level 7. And especially on 10, they really need to have that synergy and abilities to get these kills so that the resets for Leemings are starting kicking in. But at this point, we have still Dignitas completely pressuring. Abathur is trying to soak 2 lanes right now. He soaks the middle with his body, and he always sets a symbiote up to the top lane whenever need be to make sure that he at least grabs a bit of what's happening there. So once that tank pushes this in with his Dahaka, and the minions hit the wall, we have the symbiote jumping onto one of the towers. You soak the experience with the symbiote, you still soak in the mid lane as well, and therefore we are having Dignitas right now even ahead in experience.
And they're going to keep at it. 1 lone altar spawns in the next couple of seconds. beGenius is set up. Dahaka's ready to rotate at any point. In fact, he's hiding his body here, so Dignitas should be frightened for the ganks. And they're playing a little bit more reserve. JPL, though, diving that back line with the Abathur hat, going for Kirbois.
Yeah, Abathur is helping out, of course, and they are moving back again. Danatan finds himself in a bit of a rough spot, tries to stun out Jaina. That doesn't happen. Leeming is down. Muradin explodes. And did JBL together with Abathur honestly just take down in the 2 versus 1 situation Leeming?
They sure did.
Oh my god.
Taking her out there, JPL on the left side, Blizzard coming in, Tank for the win, hoping to retreat. A tongue does come out, so we get a pick off. He's going to come out of the bro at the last second, though, and get picked off. But at least it was a kill.
Yeah, Material didn't kill him. That was probably Jay just saying, like, dude, come on, please. At least let me get it. Let me get it. I'll confirm it. Don't worry about it. And Zelia just said, nah, not going to happen. Mena and Zelia confirming the kill before JPL dies here. But yeah, so JPL down 10 versus 8 in levels. 28 versus 36 points on the core. Dignitas.
This is where it becomes a bit of a beatdown. 10-9 right now. Bell tower down on the bottom right already. beGenius gonna have a hard time clearing out that bell tower on the right side. They're gonna need to get Greymane up there in the mix. But if Dignitas sits around there, particularly Arthas, they should be able to hold that area very well, especially with Jaina. They have so many zoning options available to them. And they do group up. They're going to push in with some mercenaries. For now, beGenius is just praying to get to level 10 here, which should open up Dignitas a window to get 3 more points on that core.
Yeah, and they're already trying to make that happen. Danatan is attempting to just push these mercenaries back a little bit. That's not going to happen. Yeah, Bakery is moving in, just pushes him back and says, like, nope, we are going to secure these 3 points. 25 against 36. The one thing we still have to state, of course, is that this is a map where comebacks are quite often happening. Simply because if you run a late game composition, you can always make that happen. There's never the situation where a team can end early against you by simply dropping the core. You have to focus on the objective. So that draws the map out a bit more than other maps, and you can come back in the later stages of the game. It's a strategy that Fnatic, for example, used just recently to come back in a series where they were down to, I think, 4 points?
Yeah.
4 or 5 points. So they were able to make that work. Now beGenius have to try the same approach. They need to reach the late game and try to use those death timers on Dignitas to turn this around. But it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, you are correct. There is a way for beGenius to come back, and they do have the team fight potential with the resets that we were talking about earlier. If we get a big orb on Lucio in particular, and Greymane goes in, goes for the throat, that's a dead Lucio. And then resets start happening, Calamity start moving in without Abathur being an actual body. There are those kills that could start to really snowball, but beGenius has to make a big play here. And so far, the confidence issues is what's really hurting me here. beGenius just seems lost.
Yeah, and also one of the things that we have to point out is that especially Muradin doesn't really have the impact that beGenius is currently hoping for. We've seen so many Storm Bolts miss, and that just shows that if you compare it to the impact that an Arthas has right now, that Tyrell has, and Nubarak has, he's just falling short a bit. And that also seems to be one of the things that is especially true for Europe. In every other region, Muradin currently has a win ratio over 50%. Europe is the only one where Muradin has less than that.
Why do you think that is?
I think Muradin overall is falling off a little bit in our region, simply because other tanks are taking his spot. And it just seems that the style doesn't fit anymore. Europe is moving away as a whole. Is moving away from that, let's kill a target with a Storm Bolt and a follow-up. Oftentimes that idea is replaced by a variant being added to the mix and him getting the charge in. It just feels like Europe's playstyle has adjusted a lot from the past. And meta changes, and it's very different from region to region, which is of course transparent if you're also watching North America and Korea. You can see very different priorities in a lot of the heroes that are being picked.
Well, beGenius hoping to get play here, goes in for the engage. Sanctification has been used, but JPL continues to own that front line with the aid of the Abathur hat. Kirbois praying to clear out these mercenary camps, will do so. And do know, this bell tower has been down for 3 minutes, almost 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Finally, beGenius will be able to take it back. But Dignitas, on the road to 13, continues to control the battleground.
It's still 13 versus 13 talent, so beGenius is struggling when it comes to the core points, but overall experience is still fine. This is important now. This is a double altar phase that we are seeing starting up on the map, and beGenius, they need to make a play there. Taking the camp is already a great start into this, so that's going to be putting some pressure onto Dignitas. Not too much though, since the wall is still intact. But right now, beGenius, they need to take altars.
One of the things that I think could really benefit beGenius is similar to what the Playing Ducks did in the first couple of seasons. They just started to go for calls to learn from them. They went all in, and they made plays to learn what could work and what could not work for them. beGenius seems to think that nothing works for them. Go in, get aggressive, bring me some hype.
And there comes the Ring of Frost already. We have the beat drop by Lucio. He goes in. Arcane is low, though. The double kill against beGenius as Dignitas goes full all out. They go for tank for the win. They try to make it a triple. Kierva is on the run. He could fall as well. Bakery chasing him down together with JPL. They finally have to retreat. Oh, and Kierva attempting to turn it around against Bakery, making him pay for it. But nope, it is Dignitas indeed who takes both altars and the triple kill. That's shots fired, and that's also going to be a go for the boss.
That felt like a really weird call for me from beGenius. They went in, and then two members decided they didn't want to fight anymore in the middle of the fight. Mainly because Ultimate Evolution was used, and Jaina came in with the Blizzard, so that's understandable. But Muradin left the fight a little bit earlier than he should have, it felt like, and then Kirbo was forced to start retreating because obviously he's leaving and teleporting away.
It was also a very rough spot to fight against all that AoE. The Ring of Frost came out immediately.
True.
Then you have the double Blizzard. I mean, just look at that death trap to the left here. And yeah, Bakery, of course, with the sound barrier, using the ult, and everyone on Dignitas was on the same page. They just call it, they say, boys, Ring of Frost, get the sound barrier in, and everybody moved in, and beGenius just could not withstand that pressure. They lost 2 heroes immediately, then Dehaka as a third followed shortly after that, and he's gonna die as well.
Bakery doing the nasty here. He goes in, he drops a big boop on that back line. Jaina with the Blizzard as well. Dignitas gets a kill on Dehaka. They can start pushing in the bell tower. beGenius will answer back on the bottom left. But up until this point, we've been pretty even on experience around 13, but that big team fight happening, Dehaka falling down, and now bell tower being killed, has given Dignitas a massive lead over their opponent, 16-14.
That late game experience is coming into play now, and also the more important part is, of course, that beGenius is down to 3 points on the core, which means that at any time an altar taken or a boss grab is going to end this game in favor of Dignitas and would make this a 2-0 lead for them. They have to try and stop those mercenaries. They should just be in time. Even Abathar going in, making sure that there's a target for the mercenaries to attack. That was a close call. Snitch helping.
And life gets scary for beGenius. If they lose one altar here, they lose the game.
This is basically GG. Abathar alone. Well, he just used Burrow, so he should still have that on cooldown. Maybe he has an opportunity to move in, but we have Dehaka now in the middle up here. The fight has started. Dehaka goes in from behind. Isolation on Bakery, moving back. Stormbolt again missing. Danatan just not on point with these, and that's the double kill, and this should conclude the game. Dignitas just cleaning it up.
Yeah, Mane on the back right, just kneeling every skill shot needed there. Deals with Kirva, deals with the rest. Dehaka gets at least one dragon. He's going to be able to lick Jaina before he falls victim, and that's going to be it. Dignitas secures the win. They are up 2-0 over beGenius.
Bakery doing the honors here at the end, capturing the last altar. 15 kills against 1 at the end of the game. Very impressive again by Dignitas. Great play here from them, dominating early on already with an Abathar composition, and beGenius just not finding the answer to taking them down.
Yeah, beGenius so far in these matches are just holding on, it feels like, in terms of experience, and then one team fight happens and they just fall apart against Dignitas. Going into game number 3, I think it's time to pull out the hyper-aggression. They have moments where they pulled it off in the past and it works. Get that early game, get some kind of lead going for there. Get your confidence back, because right now I'm watching their gameplay and it just feels like they're not trusting each other to do the right things.
I would really have loved them to just jump back into what they did in the past and just simply use that Tracer. Yes, it's a bit predictable. Yes, Dignitas expects it. That's one of the reasons why they themselves went into an Abathar. Of course, it also works really well with what they were trying to play here. But they have to do something right now, and what they've been doing so far, last week, this week, it just doesn't work. And they are with the back to the wall, as is already, so you might as well.
Yeah, I kind of want to wonder if beGenius has given up already and is already thinking about the Crucible here as being their only avenue for coming back into the HGC for the next phase. You still have 3 more weeks, guys. Come on, give us some energy. You got this. We'll be right back for game number 3. This is a best-of-5 series between Dignitas and beGenius.